All right, and we're live. You guys notice I did that backwards this time. I usually say going live in 3, 2, 1, and I did it in 1, 2, 3. How's everybody doing tonight? We're back on for the second episode of Before the Train Wreck. It's a show where you guys get to call in and vet red flags that your spidey senses tingle on life in the sexual marketplace in general. Joined again by Dr. Sean T. Smith. How you doing tonight, Sean?
Good. Looking forward to this. Last one was a hoot, and I think this will be fun too.
Yeah, the last one was very well received. I was well chuffed with the feedback and the comments. We read them all. So Sean and I are going to be doing these on a regular basis until such time as you guys indicate that you don't want us to, or we don't want to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because we're grown adults, we can do what we want, right?
Yeah. There you go.
All right. We were going to start with some stuff in the news. And a couple things popped up that you sent to me. We're going to get to a call-in segment in a little bit, maybe about 20 or 30 minutes, but a couple things that popped up here. Self-perception and reality usually line up when it comes to judging our own personality, U of T research. What did you want to say about that one?
Well, that came out of University of Toronto, which I think that's where you are, right? You're in Toronto? Yeah. So it came out of Toronto, and what they were looking at is that everybody's working with the big 5 personality traits right now, and they were looking at how accurately people judge themselves compared to what other people say about them, and it kind of surprised them that people are more accurate when they self-report than these researchers anticipate. And the reason that's important is because psychology uses so many self-report measures. And sorry, I got a cough drop in my mouth, or I got to spit it out here. And so it's interesting. They're thinking that the reason people are generally pretty accurate with their self-report is it's a built-in error management where humans we're calibrated to judge ourselves pretty accurately so that we don't screw ourselves up too bad in the social marketplace. And the reason this came to my attention is because there have been some studies in the past that suggest that men are not very don't have great insight when it comes to how they're coming across to women. So I think that this research, judging from what I looked at, this recent research out of University of Toronto is pretty accurate, but it doesn't conflict with the previous research because that also was believed to be an error management when men would overestimate how successfully they were being received by women that they were talking to, for example. And the error management there is driven by reproduction. So a guy would essentially keep trying because he thinks he's doing okay. So I think this is kind of interesting that a guy could be pretty accurate just socially in general in judging himself, but then when it comes to talking to women, not have a very good perception of himself or an accurate perception. And there are those guys who overestimate how well they're doing and guys who underestimate how well they're doing. And I think both lines of research suggest that really when it comes to talking to women, you want to check in with your buddies and check in with the people around you and see if you're actually interpreting yourself correctly. And I think a lot of guys are going to find that they're underestimating how well they're doing with women.
Yeah, interesting. And you also linked another one, another piece that was on the news, a UK advertising watchdog to crack down on sexist stereotypes. And let me just see if I can share my screen so I can show you guys what it is we're talking about here. And let's try this. Boom, boom. And you are screen sharing. Let's see if this comes up now. So this over here, I'm guessing you guys can see this. Can you see that, Sean?
Yeah.
All right. So this is what they're talking about. So apparently UK advertising watchdogs are going to crack down on sexist stereotypes because this kind of advertising seems to be a problem. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, what they're saying, this is the Advertising Standards Authority in England, and I don't know how the laws work. I know that this is not a legislative body. They're sort of an oversight body, and they decided that if you show advertisements in which women are doing women things and men are doing stereotypical men things, that is somehow psychologically damaging to people, and it contributes to disparity somehow. And I looked at, let's see, what's this lady's name? There was a chief nanny social engineer who was in charge of this. I can't remember her name, but she's in the story here. And I looked her up, and of course her quote is, "We don't consider ourselves social engineers," which is, I mean, that's what else is a social engineer going to say? But I'm not a social engineer. So I looked up this report.
Ella Smiley or
Yeah,
Smelly.
that's the one. And I looked up this report that her little organization had put together, and it is called Depictions, Perceptions, and Harm, a report on gender stereotypes in advertising. And it reads like something that a sophomore in gender studies would put together. It's just this Orwellian gobbledygook, and the sources that they cite are just these low-grade thinkers. And they even quote implicit bias, which is this concept that we all walk around with these biases that derive our behavior. And there was a lot of research on this in the early 2000s, and it got completely discredited. Even the person who came up with the term said, no, this implicit bias, it doesn't work this way. It's nonsense. So they're citing a bunch of stuff that's just silly and ridiculous, but it just makes me so angry, because this is how tyrants take control. It's by little increments like this. So this week we're going to tell you what you can and cannot say in advertisements. Next year it's going to be what you can and cannot say in movies. And we got to fight back against this stuff. This is feminism just asserting itself in people's day-to-day business, and it's incredibly destructive.
So how do you fight it? What's the solution, you think?
Well, the solution for guys like you and me who have put ourselves in a position to speak out against it is to speak out against it. But I think that I'm sympathetic to guys that have maybe jobs that they have to look out for, and they can't just go spouting off like you and I can. But even then, I think you got to fight it where you can, fight it at every opportunity.
I was talking to Jack Donovan about the state of, the world, because he's kind of this guy that he just wants to be left alone. He wants to write about masculinity, go to his land, do his thing. And I think the term worm people came up, and it's like, there's no distinction in masculinity, femininity, strength, weakness. It's like this blur of this blob of, I don't know. It's just so bizarre that I start to see these things now, where as a kid it was just like, oh, well, that's just par for the course. Isn't that how things should be? I was kind of brought up on all this in school, religion, family, and everything like that. And it's like looking at all this sort of stuff now, and you hear these stories about, well, we can't have women in a bathing suit because that's wrong, because women don't wear bathing suits at the beach, right?
Yeah.
They don't really care about what they look like when they put on a bathing suit to go to the beach. It's insignificant for some reason. Just because you change advertising, it means that you no longer have any liability towards self-care, right?
Right. So it's got me thinking, if you sell bikinis, you're apparently not supposed to show a woman in a bikini. Or what if you sell trash trucks? What if that's your business in England that you manufacture, you sell trash trucks? Well, we know that women do not work on trash trucks unless something horrible has gone wrong in their life. It's men that step up for that kind of job. So if you're going to make an advertisement for trash trucks in England, I guess you better make sure that advertisement is staffed entirely with women, even though that's not what's going to happen in the real world.
Well, here's what's funny. They've actually got a company in the US called College Hunks Moving Junk or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yeah, there's that. There's a few of them over here.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a 1-800-GOT-JUNK model, but it's College Hunks Moving Junk or something like that. And they put them in like tight-fitting T-shirts. They hire masculine, strong men, and they put out advertising to basically these stay-at-home moms that want some eye candy, to come over and clean up the garbage and haul it away. But you couldn't advertise, something that would put a girl or a woman in a bathing suit that would be sexually provocative, because women aren't sexually provocative. What are we going to do? We're going to wrap them up in towels and burqas now here?
Yeah, that's one of the strange conflicts in feminism. Like they are all for freedom until it comes to the wrong kind of freedom. Then they want everybody in a burqa, I guess. But they just suck the fun out of everything. And I think that's really how to fight this political correctness and the feminism and the social justice warriors, just to laugh at them.
Yeah, they definitely suck the fun out of life.
Yeah.
All right. So the main topic we wanted to hit before we go over to calls was, if you guys watch my channel for a while, you know that I run a private community. Let's just talk about that for a sec. If you want to join it, there is so much content that goes in there right now. We have a private men's Facebook community. I do one video a month with exclusive content that does not go on the public YouTube channel. It's not watered down stuff, so it's more premium stuff that dives deep into subjects. It's a lot less politically correct, so I put it behind the paywall for that reason. We have monthly Q&A hangouts. We did one a few weeks ago with one of our community members that is running an Amazon FBA business, which means fulfilled by Amazon. So a lot of guys ask, well, how do you get a side hustle going? How do you make some money? We talked about the components of that are netting people anywhere from 100 grand a year up to $1 million a year, and some outside of the box thinking in and around it. There's a whole bunch of other things, so I don't want to bang on it too much. But one of the things that comes up on a day-to-day basis was what I shared over with you, Sean, was the comment from one of the guys that I probably see at least once every 2 to 3 weeks. And it's, what do you do when your girlfriend wants to go rifling through your phone? She wants a password to your phone. It's usually preceded with, who's so-and-so that's liking your social media posts? Or where were you at this time, or something like that. And then it ends at some point with, give me access to your phone. I've got some thoughts on it from kind of like a red pill manosphere sort of perspective, but I want to hear the clinical psychologist idea on what that means. And is that a big red flag? Is that something that guys should look out for? Because that's what the show is all about, right? Is avoiding the train wreck.
Sorry. Yeah, I would. Sorry, for everybody listening, I'm just coming off a cold here, so I apologize if I have to hit the mute button once in a while. But yeah, it's a red flag. And the question that you sent me a screenshot of the question, and the guy referenced a long-term girlfriend wanting to go through his phone. And, my thought on that is, it's not about the phone, it's about trust. And let's follow the chain of events here. So usually what happens, and I see this pretty frequently, is somebody will have some issue with trust, but they'll tie it to some little object like the phone. And the phone's a real popular one these days. And so what they'll do, rather than talking about the fact that there's a trust problem, they'll come up with some stupid little agreement about the phone. Like, okay, I'll leave it out on the kitchen counter for you. You can check it on Thursdays, or whatever non-direct solution they come up to this. And then what happens invariably is they come up with an agreement, but since there's mistrust inherent in the agreement, somebody violates their end of the agreement. And as soon as that happens, they may or may not talk about it, but everybody's keeping score. And now the trust goes even a little further backwards. And so eventually one of two things happens. Either you have the conversation about trust and you work it out and you set the phone aside because that's not the issue, or the trust problem just expands so much that it consumes the relationship. And in terms of, if this guy's looking for a specific response to his girlfriend saying, I want to look through your phone, well, let's follow the chain of events. So how does this end up 5-10 years down the road? I'm asking permission to go walk the dog. That's ridiculous. That's no kind of relationship for you or for me. And since this guy was talking about a long-term relationship, I presume that he wants to keep it. And so my thought is, you have that talk and you have some inquisitiveness about trust.
So the red pill lens applied to this looks at it as a shit test. Kind of the plebeian, response to the academic one you just got from Sean. So the plebeian, idea looks at it like, this is a shit test, agree and amplify, which would, simply be, she would come at you with, I want to see, what's in your phone. Give me the password to your phone. I want to take a look through it to see who you've been talking to. Or she may not even say that, to which the response would be, yeah, sure. Why don't I give you my phone and then the passwords to all my RSP, my savings accounts, all my investments, and, TFSAs and all that sort of stuff too, smirk and then kind of walk away. What's your thought on that handling mechanism?
Yeah, I think calling it a shit test is fine. And I think the blue pill answer and the red pill answer both lead to the same place, essentially, which is, this is not how it's going to be. We're not going to be monitoring each other. I think the pickup artist response would be more like, okay, that's something that you can capitalize, right? Her anxiety about the phone is something that you could use to keep her interest. Yeah. But I guess to expand on the blue pill side, if this guy's talking about keeping a long-term girlfriend, you do need to think about the blue pill aspect of things too. And part of that is, all right, maybe he's doing something that's arousing her suspicion. And if that's the case, then all right, let's have a discussion about that. And he, let's not make it about the phone, which is where people go, which is one of the reasons that I think a lot of guys, because this is a common request, I think a lot of guys are more comfortable talking about the phone than about the fact that, okay, she doesn't trust me and I don't really want to go into that dark closet. So we'll just make it about the phone.
Okay, I want to take a quick survey because we got 400 people watching us live right now. So in the chat, hit 1 if you've experienced this before, where after the fact, when hindsight's 2020, you discover that the reason why she wanted to go digging through your phone was because she was up to something herself. I'm just curious as to if anybody's experienced anything close to that, because I've seen it probably at least a couple times now. Another word for it is she is micromanaging you. Correct. Yeah. And there's some ones popping up. Interesting. Oh, not just one, but a whole bunch of them apparently. Exactly. Oh, hang on. We got one nope.
Look at all those ones popping up.
There, dude, it's like exploding.
So these are guys that have had this question asked of them. I want to monitor your phone.
That have had the girl ask, I want to monitor your phone. And then they end up discovering the reason why she wanted to monitor his phone was because she was up to no good herself.
Okay, so when these ones that I'm seeing, oh, someone just gave like 5, 7 ones. So these guys are saying that the reason they wanted to check the phone is because the girl themselves was doing something untoward. Yeah. Is that what they're saying? Okay.
Just for the record, I don't know if you guys will see this on a replay, but there's got to be at least 100 ones that popped up there. That was nuts. All right, I'm going to launch Blog Talk Radio, and we'll post the number for calls. Just as a heads up, guys, the show's about before the train wreck. So what we want to keep it on track with is your spidey senses might be tingling about a scenario, a situation, something that you kind of want to learn from, so you don't end up in a train wreck. Train wrecks look like divorce rape, where you end up living in your parents' basement. You don't get to see your kids, and all you do is throw money at your ex-wife and watch her alienate you from them. So we want to help you vet for bad scenarios. As Sean says in his book, The Tactical Guide to Women. Let's bust that out, because I know we've probably got some new people on here. So this is Sean's book, Tactical Guide to Women. It's available on Amazon. I believe it's linked below in the description of the video. The book is basically about trying to figure out if you've got a bad one or a good one on your hands. Let me launch Blog Talk here. So guys, when you call in, if you can get to the point, that would be great, because we don't want to have like 15, 20 minutes of dancing all over the place. I'll get you to the point if you start going off track. When you call in with a question. This is what I'm stuck on. And hey, guys, this is what I'd like you to do to be useful for me in this situation so I can understand it. You're looking for clarity, basically. While I'm launching this, Sean, if you want to tell them about your book and the story behind it, I think you're writing something else right now, right?
Yeah, I'm working on something else, but I just did want to add that probably the reason she wants to check his phone is because she wants to make sure he's not calling into us and getting our opinions. But yeah, working on another little project. It's way off in the distance, but getting it started. Taking a little follow up to this book. This book is about finding women who are high quality, low drama. The next book, I'm going to expand on that a little bit and look at keeping forces out of your life that sap your energy and your attention.
36 seconds.
Sorry about that.
Who is that?
That is the voice of, I don't know, let's just call her God.
I'm going to need to check your phone and see who you're talking to over there.
Yeah, no, that's the voice of Blog Talk Radio that hops on just before you go live. So I'll post the number. Actually, I'm going to give the number first, keeping true to what I do here to the guys in my community, because your
show will go live in 5 seconds. 4.
Oh, there we go.
3, 2.
I feel like we're going to launch a spaceship or something.
Away.
I don't know. Maybe I should be launching that before we start the show and go live. But anyway, it is what it is. We're learning as we go.
Okay. It's a nice piece of drama. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, well, it gives you a countdown and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, here is the call-in number. If you guys want to join us on... Oh, crap. Hang on. What is that over there? You still there, Sean?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Do me a favor, cover for me, because I'm having a problem with Blog Talk.
All right. So these guys that are typing all the ones a minute ago, talking about that, the assumption was that the woman asked them if they could check the phone because they themselves were cheating. I'm just kind of curious. I don't think we can really get an answer, but maybe some guys can type quick answers there where how they found out that the woman was actually the one who was cheating. And we got another comment here that says the best advice from Richard ever was the video explaining how to shit test women properly and save so much time and energy. And I don't recall that video. I know I watched it, but I don't recall precisely what your points were there. You said one about buying coffee. I remember.
Yeah,
like going to a coffee shop.
Yeah, just to throw coffee on the table. So a good friend of mine got married to this nightmare chick. So this is his shit test. Here, actually, Sean, can you do me a favor? I've lost the ability to look at the chat right now, so I'm going to put the call-in number in the group chat. If you can copy and paste that into the regular chat, people are watching. The number is 323-642-1618. For some reason, the chat bubble is gone for me when I close that. So see if that works. Again, it's 323-642-1618. So, he ends up marrying the wrong woman. And every guy, when hindsight's 2020, always has that pivotal moment of when, oh, if I would have only just listened to my intuition. And for him, it was the moment where he was out with his then fiance. They went to a party. It was kind of her event, her party. So he leaves, his wallet at home. And on the way back from the party, he says, hey, I fancy a coffee. Can we stop by Starbucks or Tim Hortons and grab one? And she has a spaz on him. Oh, who are you? You think that you can forget your wallet? I'm not paying for everything. You're trying to take advantage. Like, this is over $1.50 coffee. So, he marked that as one of the pivotal moments, a red flag that he should have paid attention to. So that's what he was talking about in that reference.
Right. There's an old blue pill concept that comes from John Gottman, and it's very similar to the idea of the shit test. And his thought is that in more traditional relationships where men and women are trying to get together and make a long-term relationship, that what we would call a shit test here is what he would call a bid for connection. And he noticed that, I think I'm quoting him correctly. This came from a colleague, but he noticed that what women will do sometimes, and men too, I suppose, is they will do this kind of shit testing, push boundaries, push buttons in an attempt to get closeness. And it ends up backfiring because usually people misinterpret the shit test and as something aggressive. And he's saying that, no, it's actually usually an attempt to know that there's some stability in the relationship. Like, they want you to step in and fix whatever it is that they're struggling with.
Correct. Yeah, totally agree. Sean, did you post the call-in number?
I did.
323-1648. Yeah. So if you guys have questions, hit that number. You can give us a shout. You'll be live on the air. You can ask the question, get your feedback. Hopefully we'll blow up a red flag that's in your way. Get rid of it. Don't ignore it. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it should be working. Interesting. Yeah, last time I posted it. Can you guys see that number? If you can just mention to Sean that you can read it, 323-642-1618. These are part of the things you got to deal with when you're doing these live radio type call-in shows. I got to get myself one of those assistants that Joe Rogan has on the show, where they have a call-in guy that deals with like the phone and the systems and the audio and the microphones and everything. I might have crossed the line here and it's not working.
Yeah, there's a couple people also. I posted the number, and a couple of other people are posting the number up there. So it's
okay. Good. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, it looks like it's live. End episode. No, I don't want.
What did I post? Let's see, 323. Let me see what I posted. Rich, I screwed up. I typed my area code, which is 303. I apologize. So it's 323-642-1618.
Yeah, just copy and paste what I put there in our group chat.
Well, I got different computers going here, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why my chat bubble shut down after I launched Blog Talk Radio, but it just killed my chat for some reason. So, fortunately, I can't read it. Okay.
Maybe someone out there can post that they're trying to call in if they're having trouble getting through.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with this thing. It's so bizarre. I need Donovan Sharp to help me out with this thing, man. I totally copied his setup, but instead of using hardware components, my IT guy, convinced me that everything's available in software form on your computer. So it worked great last time.
Well, and then I screwed up the number, and guys are giving me some grief here. You had one job, Sean. That's what somebody typed.
Okay, hang on. We got a caller here. Let's see if we can pull it in. All right, so we've got area code 206-228. Can you hear us okay? Okay, we got caller 206, can you hear us? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you through the computer.
Yeah, do me a favor and turn down the audio on the broadcast on the computer so you can hear us.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So what's your question, and what can we do to be useful?
and turn down the audio.
All right. I'm just going to drop that call because I can't deal with that shit. We got a new caller, 504. Make sure you got your computer volume down. And let me just connect you. Okay, 504. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Sean, can you hear the caller?
Yep, I got him.
Awesome. It's working. Okay, 504. What are you stuck on? What's the red flag you're seeing, and what can we do to be useful?
Well, I've dated someone for 5 years, and then we broke up for 3 years, and now we're dating again for 3 years. But she is insistent on marriage, and I just don't want to get married. I mean, I'm 57, she's 52. It's like, how do you tell someone that is a great person that you love and that loves you that I just don't want to be married? And she is insistent. You know, she's in that paradigm of if you love someone, you marry them.
Okay, well, I have a simple answer to that is I love you, but family law is hostile towards men, so we can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Why does she want to get married? Is she running out of time with something? Like, what's the big rush?
Well, you know, we started dating during the time where she should have been having kids at 38. And, but I did not want to have kids then. And, you know, she's just prone to getting angry about a lot of things. And even though she's a good person, she, you know, supports me. She, you know, I just have a lot of respect for who she is, but just prone to getting angry about a lot of things and just, it's,
Can
she
you
wants to control too much of my life, and I don't want to deal with that.
Okay, can you give us an example of one of these flare-ups, one of the hissy fits?
Okay, so we broke up the last time. We went on a great vacation. We were there for three days, came back. We're having a great time. She makes s'mores. I'm eating s'mores. The chocolate gets on the plate, and she's mad that I didn't clean the plate immediately.
I'm not sure I see the problem.
You know,
like, why is she having a... So she had a hissy fit over chocolate that hit the plate?
That I didn't get up and stop what we were doing immediately and clean the plate. We're playing, you know, a game of Scrabble.
Well, that sounds like a hell of a lot more than just chocolate hitting the plate. What's your take on that, Sean?
Yeah, there's more going on there than if that's all it is. Then what the hell are we even talking about? Like, she sounds nuts, but I'm wondering, yeah, there's got to be something else behind that story.
People are like, well, it wasn't about the chocolate. Well, you know, it's about the relationship too, but it was about the chocolate. It's about all these little small things that just aggravated about all the time.
Yeah, she doesn't sound very fun to live with. Is this why you don't want to marry her?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, but
you don't even have to go to family law is hostile. All you have to do is say you freak out when chocolate falls on a plate and I don't clean it up immediately. You know, you're a grown-ass adult. Yeah. Why do you need somebody telling you when to go clean your plate when chocolate falls on? I mean, the whole point of a plate is to catch food so it doesn't land on the floor.
Exactly.
So why are you putting up with this horse shit?
Well, we broke up, and I'm not. But, you know, it's, you know, she wants back in, and it's, you know, we've dated for so long and had, you know, connections with family and everything else. And plus, I don't know, then you start going out and dating other people and you see what else is out there, and it makes her look.
Well, hang on a second. I mean, there's women out there that aren't going to freak out when chocolate falls on a plate and you don't clean it immediately and won't be badgering you all the time to get married and shit.
That is true.
If it wasn't for for these little, you know, chocolate explosions or whatever's going on, would you want to marry her?
No, you know, she, you know, she's bringing up things, you know, that I think are small that happened 10 years ago. And it's like, I thought this was 10 years ago. Why are we still talking about this?
All right. So your situation now is that you broke up with her. She wants back in. And what's your struggle with that?
My struggle is that, you know, I do love her. She loves me. I'm trying to explain. Basically, the last email I wrote is that, you know, she sent a counselor's, you know, website to me, and I checked it out, and I thought, you know, his approach seems great, but I emailed her that even though I really like what he has to say, there's nothing that it has not convinced me that I want to get married. And if you see that you can have a relationship with me and that does not involve marriage, then we can get counseling to work on some of our other issues. But I don't want to talk about marriage counseling. I don't want to discuss it.
Yeah. Well, I'm always an advocate of giving people choices rather than ultimatums. And I think it sounds like the choice here is that we can be together under condition A, where we don't talk about marriage, or we can not be together. It seems like those are her choices.
Yeah. I mean, she phrases it like, first of all, she blames me for her not having children, but she had 18 to 38 to have children.
Yeah, that's not your fault, man. You don't have to take ownership for her not having kids. Like, her holding some old shit to use, whenever it's convenient to blame you to try to gain control over the relationship. It's, it's about controlling the frame. You're either going to enter her frame or she's going to enter yours, and you're operating in her frame.
Right.
To allow her to have hissy fits over chocolate falling on a plate or continuing to push into your no boundary zone. Like if you draw a clear line and say, if you pass this line, it is done. We're over. We're not having this conversation. And she continues to push past it, and that line for you is, I don't want marriage. You don't need marriage. You don't want it, but she keeps pushing into it. Then you keep entering her frame. Like, you keep allowing her to push into it. I mean, you're going to get out of life what you tolerate. It sounds to me like you need to toughen up a little bit more. One, and two, just let this one go. I mean, Sean made an excellent point. Whenever he says, hey, if it wasn't for the chocolate on the plate, would you still want to marry her? And if the answer is still no, then why do you still continue to entertain that?
Is part of the reason for that you're attached to her family? Because you did mention her family.
What about her family?
I said, are you hesitant to break up with her because you're attached to her family and she's attached to yours, and you have these other peripheral attachments besides just the relationship?
Not really. I mean,
okay.
I have a lot of love and respect for her family, but that's not why I'm, drawn in as much as just, there's a lot about her that I do love and that I do respect, even more so than that.
So I got a question for you. Usually when people present these kind of situations, they know what it is that they need to do. So what is it that you need to do?
Well, really, I've done it. I mean, I have, quote unquote, manned up and told her that that's not what I want to do, and allowed the breakup, to happen. But it's tough when I get more emails from someone that I love and respect, and so when I put my frame out there, my frame is let's have fun. There's no reason where we have enough money. We don't have responsibilities. We can go and have fun. Let's have fun.
And have you been perfectly consistent with her in your message?
Right. We can go and have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm thinking the parameters are pretty clear here, and she can either step into the parameters or not. But I guess my thought is, if you want to be kind and compassionate to her, the kind and compassionate thing to do is to be very consistent about your message and very consistent about what her choices are, so that she's not building false hope, because she's of course going to go through a phase where she's not accepting it and she's fighting to reestablish this relationship. But as long as you're consistent, then it is on her to recognize what's going on.
All right. I'm going to drop the,
listen to Richard.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think what you were saying about, me accepting her frame, I wasn't establishing my frame as much as I was rejecting her frame. So I need to establish my frame more. I think she's just is rejecting any frame that does not, is not traditional and not let's get married.
Well, it just boils down to this. I mean, she needs to be a complement to your life, not the focus. And the minute she's making silly little things, like she's manufacturing indignation. I can't remember what the name of Rollo's blog is. I know he's watching. I saw him comment in the chat. I got it on my phone now, so I'm just trying to monitor the chat on my phone instead of the screen because it's not working. But post that link to that blog that you wrote, Rollo, about manufacturing indignation. You should, or just search for Rollo Tomasi indignation, I think is what it is. but yeah, she's just creating like mountains out of molehills for no reason, which is absurd. And like, who's got time for that? You're a grown adult. You don't need to put up with stuff like that.
Right.
I'm going to let you go though, brother, because I'm going to move on to another call because I got a whole bunch here in the queue now. But thanks for giving us a shout, 504.
Great, thanks.
All right. Who's been on hold longer here? Got a guy that's been on for about 10 minutes. So 571, I'm going to put you on the air. If you could have your question ready, what it is that you're stuck on or what red flag that you're seeing, and what you think we can do to be useful. Also, there's a little bit of a delay between communication. So let the other person finish. I mean, if I have to cut you off, then just stop talking because I want to bring you back on point. But 571, what's your name?
Hi, Rich. My name is Mo. Can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear Mo, Sean?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So what are you stuck on? What can we do to be useful?
I have to give you a little bit of a background. So I am actually a certified ethical hacker. So that's my profession. And since today's topic is, when she asked for your cell phone password, so this girl actually gave me a similar trick. So she wanted to get a password for my iPad. So she wanted to log in. But every time she gets into my network and my Wi-Fi, I could actually see all her conversation. And I actually saw one time she was chatting with this other guy.
There you go.
And I was seeing her for a few months at that time. And then I actually even told that guy, I'm like, hey, man, just between you and me, she's actually talking to you and me at the same time. And then now she started, she got caught red-handed. And then she started accusing me that, oh, you're a stalker, you're a cyber stalker, I'm going to report you to FBI. I'm like, you can do what you want. I mean,
so is this a chick that you're dating, or is she your girlfriend, or who is she?
It was a chick I was seeing for a few months, like nothing serious, but it ended.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like that's always a red flag. I mean, we kind of covered that. Did you have a new question, or was it a share?
Yeah, I just wanted to share. That's something you can do. But I do have a question for the doctor.
Yeah.
I saw on right behind you there is a creature with a gi on. So I want to know if you do any kind of martial art and what is that supposed to represent behind you?
That is just a goofy statue that my brother gave to me when I was like 20 years old. But yeah, I've been doing jujitsu for, I don't know, 25 years or so, longer than that. And then karate before that. Started when I was 16. So
okay. Okay, let's keep it on topic of avoiding the train wreck. Thanks for your call, 571. Let me grab the next one. We got a guy that's been on hold for about 12 minutes, area code 206. Again, these are questions that you want to address, red flags that you might potentially be seeing, that you want to run up the flagpole and see what Sean and I have to say about it. 206, you're on. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. What's your name?
John.
All right, John. So what are you stuck on? What can we do to be useful?
I'm actually heading for a train wreck. I was thinking of having a baby with a friend. Maybe a bad idea.
Having a baby with a friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Woman.
Carry on.
Friends, and she has her shit together. I don't really, but rationally, logically, she's pretty collected. No real red flags, and she's gonna argue. Sorry, I'm sick.
Hold on a second, please. Now.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no red flags, but you're saying that you're thinking about having a baby with a friend. Do you see anything going on there?
With her or with me?
With that whole idea, man. People generally don't have babies with friends, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what's going on there?
She's going to make it happen like artificially, and I'm kind of like at the point where I want to have a kid anyways.
How old are you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
And she's how old?
40.
Oh man. So does she have any kids?
No.
Okay, so she's got baby rabies, man, and she's looking at you like DNA stock. She doesn't value a man. She would have found a man younger if she valued a man and wanted to have kids and reproduce. She's just looking at you as like a DNA stock. What does she do for a living? Like, she's working full time. She stay at home. Like, what does she do?
She travels. She travels for work a lot, and she's transitioning to work with this same company locally and just settle down and make this happen.
Well, she's really running out of runway. Like, it's like loading up a 747 with everything you got on it and trying to get it off the ground with not enough runway.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see that?
Yeah, that she hasn't already, you mean? Or
yeah, you know what? I'm going to pass it off to Sean.
Well, I got a different take on this. I agree. I think that maybe she's viewing you as DNA stock, and I don't know what the relationship's going to look like after she has the kid. It could change 180 and then you're out in the cold. But if we look at this from the kid's point of view, I don't know what kind of household you're thinking of building with this woman, if you're thinking of building a household, but we know that the best arrangement for a child is an intact mother and father. And that's not to say that other configurations can't work. Gay men can raise children and lesbian women can raise children and people can co-parent, and there's all kinds of things that work. But the optimal situation is intact male influence and female influence. And I'm not hearing that coming through in this call.
Yeah. Like, what's the long-term plan to raise this kid? I mean, are you guys going to live in 2 houses side by side? Are you going to live together? Like, what's the plan here?
Her plan was to do a single parent thing, but I was thinking, well, we both get along with similar goals and like life, like kind of direction. So I was thinking I'm open to it, cohabitate or not, but.
Okay, but you've got a different plan than her, because you're saying we'll cohabitate, we'll maybe do this together somehow. But the descriptive term that you used for her was single parent, meaning she doesn't give a fuck about you. How much money do you make, and how much money does she make on an annual basis?
She makes way more than me. I don't make much. I'm getting my shit together. I'm starting a business and it's early. So. So
then you're a totally handsome dude. You're like 7 feet tall. You're broad, wide shoulders, narrow waist, abs. You're a sexy bitch. What does she want with you?
I'm physically attractive.
Okay.
And that's but that's the extent of it.
Okay, so you're the alpha fox. Okay, so here's the thing though, dude. I mean, even if you do decide to reproduce with this woman, which is, in my opinion, an incredibly bad idea. It's about the dumbest thing you could do right now. She could come at you for child support payments. What you do is you watch your money flow to her. If she doesn't like the fact that you're around or even alive and breathing air on the same planet, she can alienate you from the child and you can't do shit about it. This is not a good idea from any perspective. This has got more red flags on it than a Chinese Communist parade all day long. Sean, go.
Yeah, and I don't know what your intentions are. Do you want to be a father to this kid?
I would like to, but if that's not possible, I mean, I don't, I would like to have a kid on the planet.
Well, I'll tell you what's possible. Your timeline is not the same as her timeline. She's running out of runway. Like Rich said, you are not running out of runway. You're still going into the prime of your life. So you don't need to make decisions based on her timeline. And if you want to be a father, there's ways that are less risky than this. There are no risk-free ways, but this one is very, very risky in terms of you losing access to the kid and you losing access to your own finances.
Like this scenario, like what you're describing here has nightmare brewing all over it, like so badly, dude. You don't need this. I mean, if you want to have a kid, then find a woman that is child-free and younger, 20, 25, 30 years old. I mean, all women by the time they get to 30 start having baby rabies. They start thinking about filling that biological imperative. This woman had 40 years of her life, from like whatever it was, from 16, 18 all the way up to 40, to try to figure out how to reproduce. And all of a sudden you show up, genetic stock from the dream planet that she wants to reproduce with, and she somehow convinced you to knock her up. Dude, you're smarter than that. You got to be smarter than that if you watch my channel.
I got a question for you, John. Are you concerned that this is your last chance?
I mean, yeah, that's some part of the thinking.
No, that's a scarcity mindset that I don't think you need to have. You already said that you got a lot going for you and you're getting yourself financially together. This may be her last opportunity, but I seriously doubt if it's your last opportunity.
Not yours at all, dude. I mean, like, you've got at least another 5 easy years, maybe even 10, before you even have to worry about being, too tired for that nonsense. But you're not doing it under your terms. Again, who's controlling the frame here? She is. She somehow convinced you that this is a good idea as she's approaching the end of the run rate, full load, not sure if it's going to get off the ground. You can end up with all kinds of problems, man. You know, women that are later on in their years in life, they have higher, degrees of complications with pregnancy, higher degrees of birth defects. I don't know, like the list goes on and on, Sean. I mean, fill me in here, like help me out.
Yeah, I actually hadn't even thought of that, but it's getting risky for her. If you
it's
want to be a
it's
father, you
considered
probably
a
want to be a
high
father with
risk.
someone younger.
Yeah, like it's considered a high risk pregnancy, right? So, I mean, like if you want, if you want to take that risk, but why would you when you don't need to? You got a lot more runway than she does. Why do you need to capitulate and fold to her schedule and to her demand? That's where guys always go wrong, and it drives me bonkers. They start off things in the right frame. They're the alpha. She admires him. And then for some reason, over time, maybe it's a number of concessions that just add up. They end up talking to me. Like this guy would be talking to me in about 2 years' time, complaining, I can't see my kid anymore. Rich, help me out. All I'm doing is throwing money at this situation and I'm screwed. And what do I do? And I have no answer for that because I don't have a time machine to put you back in time to fix that problem. But here's your opportunity right now. You have an opportunity to stop this nonsense that you're getting yourself into and fix it, dude.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to let you go. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it, even though I've banged on you a little bit. Thanks very much. Let's go to the next caller. Josh, want to thank you for the super chat. I'm actually monitoring the chat now, so thanks again to you guys that are supporting the creation of this stuff. It's awesome. Sean, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, there's something there that we weren't privy to. I'm just hard pressed to understand why he thinks this would be his last opportunity. 30.
I think you got the point, but I mean, we could have been on with him for like an hour before we got to it. I mean, there's some limiting belief he's got going on in his head. Like the only way that I'll be able to father and take care of a kid is if I do it in these unfavorable circumstances. This is my last, it's like when you're in Vegas, in your last $200-$300 and you're like, I'll throw it all on red or something like that.
Yeah, wherever he is financially, since that was an issue for him, he can turn himself around financially in a year. And in 2 years, he could be in really good shape financially. But entering into this situation where he's going to have a kid with a, quote, friend, that's a lifetime sentence. Maybe it works out, or maybe it doesn't.
And he totally breezed over it. It's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to have a kid with a friend. And he keeps going on. It's like, hold on a second. Are we going to ignore the elephant in the room here?
Right. Well, my hope for him is that he gets himself together financially so that he can feel a little stronger and operate from his own frame.
It works great for her. It's a good deal for her to have a kid with a friend, but for him, it's a raw deal. It's a terrible deal.
Yeah.
Okay, we got caller 910. It's been on hold for about 15 minutes. I'm going to throw you on the air if you can get right to the question. Here we go. 910, you're on the air. What's your name?
Mark, how are you?
Good. What's happening, Mark? You got a red flag or something you want to ask us? What can we do to be useful?
Yeah, real quick. Question comes up as recent breakup. Moving forward, how do you change your belief system and your frame of reference so that you don't lapse back? And just a comment, ultimatums definitely are a indicator. That was from the first caller.
Oh yeah. There's an essay for everything. I always try to reference back to Rollo's stuff because it's so impactful, but there's an essay that he wrote about ultimatums. So you probably already saw that one. If you guys haven't seen it, watching the slide, it's worth checking out later. But Sean, what's your take?
What's he worried about? Mark, what are you worried about lapsing back into?
Blue pill beta.
Blue pill beta and the belief system that you grew up with.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what blue pill beta means for you and the belief system that you grew up with.
Well, just again, going back to some of the writings and some of the blog posts, the single mom, growing up, in that frame, someone who had already been robbed, not really realizing, that all these teachings and these belief systems that come from society, pushing into this, huge, belief system of taking the male and demasculinizing. Now, again, some of those belief systems, when you really become, aware, without spitting it up, you look at the true okay, my belief systems are screwed up. How do I not let somebody back in, when they say the right thing or they do the right thing? Just like the first caller, it seems to me like he is getting ahead of himself, where it all goes back to the cardinal pedestal thing that women have to offer. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that intuition and gut feeling that comes from that is, I think a lot of guys would be looking at, how do we change that? How do we look at things differently? Obviously, these forums help. Writing helps. Surrounding yourself around good dudes helps. Shooting, golfing, some of the things that Rich has said. Looking at some other options of how to ingrain that and keep it standard.
Well, I think that you're talking about keeping some new values on board, and new values are tough to keep on board all the time because you want to backslide. And I don't know specifically what these old ways of organizing and viewing the world are that you're worried about sliding back into. But I think you touched on a couple of the most important strategies for keeping in touch with your new values. And I think the biggest one is community. You surround yourself with the guys that have the values that you want to enact in life. Rich has this online community, and it's a pretty low bar for entry. That's one place to start. The 21 convention is a good place to make connections. Dojos, golf courses, whatever, but you find the guys that have those values, and then you become, I think as Rich says, you become the average of those guys.
How old are you, man?
40.
Oh, you're 40. Okay. And when do you feel like you kind of unplugged from, like the blue pill?
About a month ago.
Oh, you're still new, dude. I mean, you still have a lot of work to do. I've had this question asked a few times, and I mean, it's going to take years for you to fully grasp this new paradigm, this new reality that you're dealing with, because you're just leaning into it now. Like, you're just looking at it going, oh wow. I mean I'm guessing you're looking at it going, wow, some things make sense, and it kind of adds up now, and the trauma doesn't really feel like trauma so much anymore that I experience, because now that I understand things, that I've taken the red pill, it makes a lot more sense. But the truth of the matter is you're going to continue to default to your basic conditioning for pretty much the rest of your life. I mean, I still do too, right?
Well, I looked at some of your earlier videos right after your divorce.
Yeah.
And it's funny. This almost feels kind of like that gut punch after you were wrong again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you had to change some things. You had a really good friend that kind of, hey, that's not your home anymore. You're not going home. That's not your home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shit like that. That's really, deep and really just, kind of sticks it right in your gut and turns it.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing. Yeah. And like, here's the thing. Using my older videos as the same example, if you go back about 2.5 years, because the channel's been up for about 4 years now, but if you go back about 2.5 years, you'll see a stark difference in the way that I communicate and broadcast ideas and messages versus even today, or even on this live call. I mean, it's always a work in progress. You got to be aware and intentional about living your life. I mean, the problem is most guys sleepwalk through their life, and they make incredibly bad decisions, and it gets them the shitty results that they get. So just being aware is the start of it all. It's certainly not the end of it all. I mean, watching a movie like The Matrix and being like, oh yeah, now I totally get this red pill, blue pill stuff, and I see everything in code, sort of thing. No, man, it's an ongoing thing, and you will revert back to conditions and ideas that will get you bad results. But like I always say, if you're not getting the results that you want, all you have to do is make different choices that get you better results. And to make the different choices, you update your beliefs. So like Sean says, continue to surround yourself with like-minded people. Consume content that updates your beliefs, that gets you to the place where you want to go. Success leaves clues, and so do failures. So just look at your patterns and your behavior, and that way you won't fall back into that, beta version of yourself that you want to try to avoid, that part of you that you want to kill off, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I would add to that, don't be afraid of a little bit of relapse, because relapse is part of change. You're going to go back to some old beliefs. And part of the reason you're going to go back to some old beliefs is because the people around you are going to pull you back to your old beliefs. That's what happens.
Oh,
even when anybody just tries to quit drinking, the rest of their family, through no ill intent, will try to pull them back into their old habits. So, and it's not the end of the world. You know, frame it as relapse, and every relapse is an opportunity to come back stronger. And each time you come back, it's a little bit easier. So you're talking about being afraid of falling back into old mindsets. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it as part of the process and keep yourself on track.
All right, I'm going to let the caller go.
Hey,
Thanks for your shout
Thank
out.
you very much.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's bizarre, you know, that whole relapse thing. It's just, I think everybody does it. It's like when you update software, it's so clean, cut and dry. You push a button, update now, and you go to version 6.271, right?
Yeah.
But with human beings, you know, if you've been on the planet for 40 years, it could literally take you at least that long for you to operate in the new condition and the new mindset that you try to create for yourself. I remember a friend of mine said to me once when I was younger, you know, I was doing one of those pining for a girl that broke my heart in my 20s. And he was like, look, Rich, you know, you've been going out with her for a year. It's going to take you at least a year to get over her. And he was pretty spot on with that. Like he wasn't too far off with that number.
Yeah. Just don't do stupid things when you relapse. Don't get anybody knocked up or that sort of thing.
Yeah,
keep your relapses under control.
Just don't have a baby with a friend or do anything crazy.
Right.
Or get married when you don't need to at 55.
Right.
Oh, cool. We got a Toronto caller here. So area code 647, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hello. My name is Israel.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. We just, I've been using all this, and I thought I would call in and just share my experience because I've been feeling that after, hearing all this, stories and watching all your videos and everything, I feel like the situation that I'm in, I feel like she has this, border personality tendency that before I didn't know, I couldn't have, even suspected that she would have them. But after, watching all your videos and everything, I feel like she does have them. So how do I approach it? What are your guys' opinion on these things?
Well, what's the problem? So, give us the example of what the red flag is.
No, for sure. Yeah. So she's like very, very, when it comes to anything, she becomes angry really quick. She's very jealous, thin-skinned, as some would say. Her family's tough on her, so she really has she's always being nervous and stuff like that. So I just feel like she does have a tendency. She's telling me that you shouldn't go anywhere else. Like you're with me and whatnot. So sort of in a joking way, but I feel like she's being like 100% honest. So yeah.
So Sean, what do you think?
So he's breaking up a little bit, but it sounds like he's saying that she's got some anger tendencies and some other insecurities and so forth. And one of the things that I was really pointed about in my book is that it's not important necessarily to find somebody who has no problems. What's important is to find somebody who's willing to work on their problems. And actually, problems can be a good thing because people who go through problems, they usually come out the other side a little stronger and wiser. So my question would be, is number one, is she willing to acknowledge that she's got these behaviors that are not working for her? And then number two, is she willing to do something about them? And if she's not willing to do anything about them, well, then you've got a choice to make, I think.
Yes, I mean, for sure. I told her, recently, like, you have these problems and whatnot. She is aware of them, but, even then, she's always jealous. Like, even with my friends, we go out, she's always like,
yeah, got it. So there's problems, but is she doing anything about it?
She knows, she's aware of them, but there's nothing. I mean, I don't see her. What would be one option? Like going to therapy? I don't think she's going to therapy. She's aware of them, and she tells me that she wants to work on them. But I mean,
okay. So what is she doing specifically to work on these problems?
Well, she's saying that she's aware, being aware of it. That's one of them. She's not going to, a therapy or anything like that, but she's just...
Okay, so let me put it to you this way. I got a car in my garage. I have a problem. There's no gas in the tank, but I want to go somewhere. So I can either sit here and go, yeah, I got a problem. There's no gas in the tank, but I want to go somewhere. Or I can grab my wallet, get my keys, head over to the gas station, fill it up, and then go where I got to go. She's not doing anything about the problem.
Correct.
You're not going to move the bar forward. You're not going to go anywhere with it. So why do you keep making up, or why do you keep inventing this idea in your head that because she acknowledges the problem, then that's enough? She's not doing shit about the problem. What she's doing is just going, nodding her head, going, yep, I'm fucked up. And then she carries on being jealous and being a thorn in your side. So why?
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I started, looking at this from a whole different thing, like view. I mean, she doesn't get along with my friends. She's just, all these excuses of, it's everything external to her, like my family, my situation, and never within her. And it's, so I mean, from this perspective, like, is it worth it, me spending that time and working with her? Or
well, what do you think?
You know what?
Well, what do you think, man?
I mean, I think, no, for sure. Like, I think that she's, and I mean, she's like, the thing is, she's great. I mean, she's a beautiful girl. She's smart. She doesn't party. She doesn't do anything like that. I'm 26. She's 22. She's got her mind straight in terms of, financially and, school and whatnot. But it's just that thing that scares me, along the way, like 5-10 years. Like, how is she going to be like?
How old are you, by the way? How old are you?
26.
You're 26. And how old is she?
26. Yeah.
And
She's
how old is
22.
she? And she's 22. Okay. And did you see my video about dating advice in your 20s?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you're entertaining a long-term relationship with a chick that's a thorn in your side.
Yeah.
Sean?
Well, at 22, she's either going to improve and it's going to move in the right direction, or she's going to continue to move in the wrong direction. And I think I said this earlier tonight. I'm a big proponent of giving people choices. You've raised this problem to her, and I'm sure she's a lovely girl. But her problems do not need to become your problems for the rest of your life. And you can give her options. You can say, look, you don't have to go to therapy, but there are some standards that I have in my life. And one of those standards is self-improvement. And it's very important to me that the person I'm with shares the same standards. And if you don't, it would break my heart, but I will understand if that's not your bag.
That's some of the best advice you got tonight, man.
No, thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, just hearing from you guys, it just gives me more, power to it. Like, I kind of deep down I knew what was happening, but I just needed to, that extra push.
All right, man.
That's where I'm at. So I want to thank you guys so much.
Thanks for your call, dude.
Yeah, good luck, Israel.
Yeah, it's so common that you hear the little voice and it's all, hey man, you sure you want to be with this chick? She seems a little crazy. Let me go Google crazy, or go to YouTube and see what crazy looks like. And then he finds videos and he kind of goes down that rabbit hole. And he's like, yeah, that's definitely her behavior, but let me keep going out with her because she's pretty.
Yeah.
Like she's the only woman on the planet. There's 8 billion people. Half of them are women. You're telling me that this is the only one that, you can deal with? Come on.
Yeah. And I think the way to approach this kind of thing is, when you got somebody in your life that's having a struggle, you don't need to give them 2 struggles and turn it into a power struggle about you're going to drag them to therapy or whatever, and you're going to fix them. They've already got their own struggle. You can hit them with some compassion and you can say, look, I know you're struggling with this. I want to help you. If you don't want to let me help you, I get it.
Yeah. All right. We got another caller on. They've been waiting for about 10 minutes. We got 778 on the line. What's your first name?
Yeah, boys. This is Aussie Josh. I'm in Vancouver right now. How are we doing?
Aussie Josh in Vancouver. Very good. So what are you stuck on? What's the red flag? What can we do to be useful?
The red flag would be the difference here and obviously traveling through the States. Here and, America versus Australia, and the system that we're in. I'm dating a girl who's in uni at the moment. 26, I'm 25. It's pretty, we're just having fun. And it's just like beautiful chick, super feminine when we're together and, we're like going on adventures and stuff, hell fun. And then when she comes out of that uni environment, it's like she's just more masculine, it's more competitive, I feel. There's like this competition between men and women. And I'm just curious what your advice or thoughts are, like long term, and about the differences in this country versus, say, South America, which is really, women are encouraged to be feminine, whereas here it seems women are encouraged to more be in a box and more masculine and compete rather than being on the same team.
I'm not sure if there's a question there that I'm grabbing.
The question is like, what do you do? You sort of abandon something like this and be like, okay, like I'm fighting the system when I'm building a relationship with someone, and look for someone else who doesn't have that sort of social conditioning and perspective on life, or do you feel like it's something you can sort of grow or encourage someone to be more feminine by being more masculine and present and red pill aware?
Are you saying she's not feminine?
She is when she's outside of the system. But I'm saying, like, university, it's like all the teachers are like women with really short hair and wearing blazers and pants and like basically looking like guys, and it's all about this competitiveness between men and women.
Well, you're never going to get away from that. Even the most feminine woman out there in North America has been affected by feminism.
Yeah.
I'm not really clear on what you're looking for. I don't know. Like, did you get something there, Sean?
No, he's breaking up a bit too, and I was having a hard time.
Sorry, I've been here for a year, and I'm looking for some insight around, I guess, the state of where things are, and how to move forward. Like, do you feel like I'm going to be fighting against the system if I, for example, stayed with this chick, or looking for people outside of that sort of world?
It sounds like you're looking for the cheat codes to some kind of
world.
Okay. It sounds like you're looking for the cheat codes to this relationship, or maybe relationships in North America in general. What are you doing in Vancouver? Do you work at Whistler or something?
I manage a sales team here. Career's going really well, and I'm getting my permanent residency here.
Okay.
For the career, great explosion of growth here for me.
Okay. So like I'm still not clear on what you're looking for, because it sounds like you're all over the place with, she's feminine and I kind of like her and I'm 25 and I'm trying to vet her for this, that, and like, what is it that's the red flag specifically? Like, I'm not clear on it, because all you're doing is you're making observations about the sexual marketplace, which we all know are true. Feminism is toxic and it's a problem. Okay. What's the red flag with?
I guess it's like, it's not as prominent in Australia. So it's sort of like, it's kind of a bit of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, like, is this just the way things sort of are? And I have to be more of a, really like more of a man to sort of fight against that, feminist influence on
what do you think,
universities,
Sean?
And that sort of the people in that crowd? Or should I just be like, fuck it, and go find someone else from a different environment?
Well, welcome to North America. The women are all pissed off here about something. That's actually not true. That they're not all pissed off, but I do think that feminism has just infected every corner of our society. And if you're asking, do you need to be more feminine? Do you need to be more masculine so she can be comfortable being more feminine? I don't know. I think that's a conversation for you and her to have.
It sounds like you're putting way too much thought into this whole scenario, and I wonder why you're even bothering with it at like mid-20s. I mean, the general rule for guys in their 20s is establish your life, create the blueprint and the foundation for what you're going to build, go from there. I mean, vetting a woman for a long-term relationship at 25, it's good that you're asking the questions of yourself and you're questioning the dynamics of the sexual marketplace versus what you're used to in Australia. But it is what it is, man. I mean, that's just the nature of, Vancouver's very liberal. It's more left-leaning than other parts of the country. I don't know. It's because it rains there a lot, but that just seems to be the case. Anywhere it rains a lot, there's always way more liberals with purple hair for some reason. But I don't know. But back to the reality of the equation. It's like, well, spin more plates. Like, if you're not sure about her, or there's questions in your mind about where it is going to be useful for you or how she might complement your life. I mean, these are all questions that guys should be asking themselves: is how is this woman a complement to my life? Right? What does she bring to the table? Aside from being pretty, or, she's useful for other things. I mean, like, what does she bring to the table? Because if she's bringing drama and she's, filling your conversation, your phone's blowing up, or your nights with her are blowing up with, you're listening to conversations about gender studies, analysis, and why feminism has a lot more work to do and how there's gender pay gaps, and I'd be just saying, see ya. I think we're done here. But that's just me, right?
Sorry.
Go ahead, carry on.
Yeah, I'd say it's not that extreme. I'm observing, like you said, I'm just observing, and it's conversations that I've had with friends. Another mate of mine that's over from Australia, and yeah, like I'm in the relationship, and I'm really like I'm having fun, and I'm just sort of experimenting and learning stuff from you guys, which I really really appreciate. And I just bought your book, Sean, and like it's just an observation. I was just curious what your perspectives were because it's just new to me. It's a new experience to me.
Carry on and have fun. I don't know why you're taking it so seriously, man. You're in your mid-20s. Like, just carry on and have fun. I mean, if she's a problem, spin more plates.
Yeah, and I want to walk back something that I said a minute ago, where we were talking about her masculinity and I keep getting them reversed. Her femininity, your masculinity, and how you could have a conversation about that. I think that's a stupid idea. I think you can talk to her about her femininity, and I think she'd be willing to have that conversation. But I think when men start talking to their women about their own masculinity, it just becomes a burden that their women don't need to worry about, and it also knocks you down a couple of pegs. So I think you be the man you want to be and observe how women respond to it. And I think there will be your answer.
All right. I'm going to let you go, brother. Thanks for the shout.
I've been testing thanks.
All right. We've got another caller we're going to take in a second. I'm just putting the number back in the chat. 1618. Sorry, I'm doing this from my cell phone. Big thumbs. Let's take a break for a minute. Do a little bit of housekeeping and stuff. So Sean T. Smith, where do people find you on social media? You're most active where, on Twitter?
Yeah, that's about the only place I'm active is on Twitter, and I got a YouTube channel, Dr. Sean T. Smith, and you can find me on Twitter at Iron Shrink. And if you want to find my website, it's docsmith.co.
Yep. Go to his YouTube channel. He's putting out videos. They're really good. I even linked to one in a most recent video of mine. So definitely check out Sean's stuff. It's well put together. And there's not a lot of, academics out there that really understand the sexual marketplace the way that Sean does. So I'm grateful to have him on, and I hope you guys are getting a lot out of it. Let me mention the channel sponsor because I haven't shouted out to the Tactical Soap Company. Boom, right here. You guys should know about this. I've mentioned it a few times. If you guys like the creation of content on this channel, you're showering anyways, you might as well grab some of this stuff. It's pheromone infused soap. It is not going to solve your problems on the sexual marketplace, but it'll make you smell good. It's clean, and it's infused with pheromones. So it does work. Actually, we've seen a lot of guys comment either on Twitter, in the men's community, even in the comments whenever I mention it, like, this stuff works. I get DMs from guys all the time, how they get more attention from women. Again, it's not going to solve your problems. It doesn't solve game, but there you go. Let's take the next caller. 405. All right. 405. What is your name? Oh, we got an audio problem. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, what's up, man?
You're on the show. What's going on? What's your name?
Dude, wow, this is great. My name's Rick, and man, I'm 33. I've been in a relationship for like 3 years. I worked my ass off, man, and dude, I have a 7-month-old daughter, and she, my wife just left me like 2 days ago. So,
this is
where to start with this.
Okay, well, this is an after the train wreck. This is not before the train wreck. But what can we do to be useful?
Man, I just need to know what I need to do, man. If she keeps coming back, leaving, and I can't get her to do anything. She smokes pot all the time. Doesn't clean, doesn't do nothing, man. And I'm work hard, man. And
does
she get a lot of problems?
Does she live with you?
She has, yeah. She just moved out a couple days ago. Went back to her mom's.
Okay, so she doesn't live with you. She lives at her mom's. How far away is her mom's place?
25 minutes away.
Okay.
20 miles, something like that.
And I assume that you work full time?
Yes, I do.
And
I work in the oil field.
Got it. Okay. And sorry, you work in the oil field, so you're away for longer periods of time, and then you're back, right?
I'm on call 24/7. I can go away for a day, 5 days. I'm right back. You never know. Just never know.
Okay.
So,
and
yeah, I work. Man, I work average about 80 hours a week. Sometimes more.
80 hours a week. Okay.
Less, but
okay. And sorry, you said the baby's seven months old?
Yes, sir.
All right. You got a lot going on here, and this really isn't a before the train wreck sort of question, but I'll give you this because I'm going to go to the other calls in a minute. You've got yourself in a scenario where you're working way too much. The child is way too small, and she's already taken the child away from you, and she's way too crazy. I mean, if she's got a 7-month-old and she's getting high and she's leaving you and taking the child over to her mom's place, you have a lot of problems there. And that is nothing that we're going to be able to solve in like a 10 or 15-minute conversation. You might be able to do some damage control.
No.
You might be able to find a way to solve it to some degree. I can't copy and paste into the chat my Clarity profile link, but I do lots of divorce coaching. If you want to book a call with me, it's clarity.fm/Richard Cooper. 20, 30-minute talk will probably help you with a little bit of the damage control, but you're in for a rough ride, man.
Yeah. Hey, I listen to your show a lot. I'm always, I get your updates. I subscribe, and I just happen to know that you're on here right now. I didn't know what we were getting into. I just called the number, and I just been listening to you talk. And
yeah,
I
no
really
worries.
need to get with you and talk to you about all these problems that I have, because there's no way we can work it out in like a short amount of time. So
Yeah, no problem.
So if you could maybe send me a message or something, or however we can do that, and I'd like to talk to you, man. It'd be great.
The link to my Clarity profile is on the YouTube channel in the banner, so it's easy to find. You can also find it on the About pages. It's easy to set up. You just book a call. You propose 3 times. We'll take it from there. Thanks for the call, Rick. Talk to you later. Ciao. All right. Again, before the train wreck, guys, we're trying to avoid train wrecks, not deal with after the train wreck and the cleanup. We got 219 on right now. 219, what's your first name?
Hey, how you? Dan, how you doing, Rich?
Good, Dan. What's shaking? What can we do to be useful for you?
Hey, I appreciate you guys taking the time out, and also a member of your Institute for Car Site there.
Awesome. Thanks for supporting us.
I know you always say about, hey, no problem. I always hear you talking about don't date women with kids. It's just a disaster because you'll never come first. The dog will come first.
Mm-hmm.
What is your advice? Would you say before dating women who already have children that are already grown? They're off on their own out of the house already. Do you encounter the same type of problems that
it's
would say a kid, a woman with a kid?
Got it. Yeah, it's a different set of problems. How old are the kids?
You're probably looking at about 22, 23.
22, 23.
Military, already gone away.
And how old are you, and how old is she?
Yeah, I'm 47. She's 35.
Yeah, so they're not really kids. I mean, they're grown adults if they're 22. The red flag would be is the kid self-sufficient, right? Can he stand on his own 2 feet? Like, is he a grown-ass adult, or is mama constantly bailing him out, buying him a car, paying off his debt, paying his rent? He knocks up multiple girls, and she's got grandkids and dealing with stuff like that. I mean, if the guy's got his head screwed on right, sounds like he does. I mean, if he's in the military, he's off doing his thing. Hopefully you're not going to be liable for anything.
He's squared away. Yeah, he's definitely got his head screwed on straight. So
yeah. So I mean,
no problems there so far.
Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing, though. You're never going to come ahead of her child, though. Okay. So don't ever expect to, because mothers just are like that. So you'll always be an accessory, even though he's a grown ass adult. So anytime he needs bailing out, if she doesn't have the capacity to do so, guess who's going to be doing it?
Right. Yep. Definitely.
You got any thoughts on that, Sean?
Expect that to come.
Well, I got kind of hung up on the numbers. You said that she's 35 and the kid is 22. So she was 13, 14 years old when she had her first kid?
Oh, yeah. I missed that.
Looking around. Yeah, around that time. Yeah, definitely. And I know also, too, on Rich's channel, I've seen that, hey, if a girl's had a certain amount of time, if she's been young and she's had, kids early or whatever, man, it's drop them, spin more plates.
So what's the scoop now? Has she gotten right with God or something? I mean, she's popping out a kid at 14 years old.
Yeah, she's from the old country, so she's she came across and had him young, and she just came over to the States. So I mean, she's pretty squared away, got herself a degree job. I'm trying to vet her for not being BDP or narcissist. So She's kind of passing that.
Where's she from?
Those tests.
Where's she from?
She's from Mexico. Yeah, originally from Mexico. Right.
Huh.
Well, I'm still hung up on the numbers. Was she raped or something? Why is she having kids at 13?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm trying to better make sure she's not anything else psychologically wrong with her for having something like that. I know that young, you know.
Okay, well, hold on a second, dude, hold on, because I mean, you're spending too much time on psychologically analyzing her, but you're ignoring the fact that she had a kid at 13.
Right. Exactly.
So what happened?
Okay.
The good doctor asked, was she raped? Like, why did she have a kid at 13?
That's never got to that yet. So, said she was eventually she had a boyfriend, got knocked up, and just decided to have the kid.
I would try to get to the bottom of what happened at 13, because that's kind of important information that you're ignoring. I mean, you're spending too much time on, is she a narcissist?
Right. Okay. I'll definitely do that.
You got anything else for discussion?
I appreciate your info, guys. Thanks a lot.
No, I'm good. Good luck to you.
We'll let him go. Who's on next? We got a guy here. Okay, so 303. I'll go to you next in a second. Yeah, that's weird, dude. 13. You know what the youngest? You know what the youngest recorded birth is in medical history? It's 9 years old. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell went down in Mexico when she was 13 years old. Something about a boyfriend, but that sounds like a whole lot of making up shit to rationalize the decisions that I'm making. Story.
Yeah, 13 is still a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, we got 303 on. We'll throw him on live. What's your name, man?
Mark.
Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Just looking around. I've been taking my red pill for about solid 4 years now, and I have a question for you guys. So I just opened up a coffee shop, and I've been taking my red pills, and I have a lady and everything, and kids and whatnot. But it's weird. I'm a black guy, and being in where I live at, it's pretty weird. Like all of a sudden, I'm just kind of like the scary guy, and then my lady brings me around people or whatever, and then they're like, "Oh, he owns a coffee shop." Everybody's like at ease. So I'm like, if I was walking down the street or in Whole Foods or whatever, people are running from me or just kind of acting real just shady.
Okay, hold on a second. Mark, people... hold up. So what's the red flag? Like, what are you stuck on?
It's just like trying to figure out how to like keep that balance of like not taking everything so personal, but like knowing like when people are just kind of like being fake, about the whole situation. Because I mean, it's only so many like conversations I could have during the day. I already got my staff there, but it just seems like my lady's friends in her social group want me around now and want to talk to me and everything. But when I was working on the whole project, there was a bunch of doubts like, oh, how could he do it? And how could he finish this project? And it was just really weird. And
I'm not sure I see.
72 hours ago.
Okay, hold up. I'm not sure I see what the problem is or what you're stuck on.
Just dealing with the friends and family thing of people not really. It's just trying to like figure out that balance of like. It just kind of seems like there's a bunch of older kind of people within our social group, like our friends and family. Like now the doubts. I don't want to say that I proved that I can open up my own business and whatnot. The conversations they're trying to keep talking to me and want to be around me.
Okay, I'm going to drop that call because that's not going anywhere. I didn't get anything out of that. Did you, Sean?
Wasn't sure where he was going with it.
It wasn't going anywhere. I mean, I'm looking at the comments and it wasn't just me. So sorry about that, man, but I had to let you go. Guys, when you call in, you got to get to the point. Okay. What is it that you're stuck on? What can we do to be useful for you? Is there a red flag that you want to discuss? 814, going to throw you on. What's your first name?
Hey.
Hey, man.
David.
What's up, David? So what are you stuck on?
Hey, Well, get to the short point here. I am an Army veteran, 10 years and 2 deployments. So the problem here is a little bit different. I come from a Christian background. The best supporters is from what it seems like, and I will try to set up something later. But the heart of the question is there anything different, any advice for Christian guys who are at least trying to do what's right? I'm single in my life, so for better or worse, I've been single for years, but trying to deal with the family side of issues, and it's just how to deal with them when they want me to do things, but they don't necessarily want me to be a part of the family.
Sorry. Who is this? This is your girlfriend's family, or?
No, this is my family.
So sorry. The problem is that you're okay. Go ahead.
Like I said, the question is basically, is there any advice for someone who's trying to be financial, be a red pill, a MGTOW, but on the Christian side of things?
I'm not
sure how to ask that a little bit.
I'm not really sure what you're looking for. It sounds like you're looking for some cheat code to follow or something. Like, what is it that you're confused about? Like, what are you stuck on, dude? How to be red pilled and Christian at the same time?
Yes, and how to deal with my family, especially my parents, because they're very strong Christians, and it makes it very hard to deal with them at times.
Sean,
how does being red pilled collide with being Christian?
Can you say that again?
How does being red pilled contradict being Christian? What's the friction there?
The friction lies with the fact that, specifically with me, they want me to be a part of the family, to follow them, but whenever I try to talk about ideas that interest me, anything from politics to personal life, like personal stories, I guess, I get shut down, and they want me to focus on my nieces and nephews.
Can you give us an example?
Problems, anything that specifically, I guess they want me to talk about, focus on my nieces and nephews, asking questions like how they're doing, what's going on in their life. When I even ask a simple question such as anything to do with elections or anything politics related, outside of discussion outside of family and relatives, outside of what they're interested in, I get shut down.
Okay.
If this is going on too long, I'll just try to sip a coffee account and actually put more detail into it.
Yeah, like I'm not really sure what you're stuck on. It sounds like you're trying to reconcile what it is your family's asking you to commit your time to versus what you want to talk about. And I don't really see that as a huge issue. Like I'm not seeing much there, Sean, are you?
Well, it sounds like either the family is shooting him down when he's trying to talk about what interests him, or he's talking too much about what interests him, and the family's just tired of it. I don't know where the truth is there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we're clear on that. Okay, so I'm gonna.
It could be both. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thanks, man.
All right, David.
All right. The call-in number. What time is it? It's 10:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that flew by. Let's do one last call. 571. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? All right. Hello. Let's do one last call. 571. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I don't have time for that stuff. All right, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. The last couple of calls were a little bit nebulous and hard to pin down. We didn't get to end on a high note there.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, honestly, the only way to get past that is if we can hire somebody to pre-screen the calls.
Yeah.
And then put them on live. And I mean, that might take a few episodes to sort out. It's not like it's something we can't solve, but I guess, for you guys watching where you're like, can the dude just get to the point? I'm working through it as fast as I can without trying to step on them. Let's take this one last one and then we'll go. So we got 772. All right. What's your first name?
Hi, it's Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. Thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Appreciate the stream here.
Okay. You're the last caller. What's up?
Yeah, well, I keep getting absolutely friend zoned and ghosted by women. I'm like 25. I'm in college. I'm a little older for being in college, but I'm trying to figure out like if it's a behavior thing because they seem like they're interested initially, right? It's like they're excited, maybe about meeting me or the interaction or whatever, and then I feel like maybe it's my behavior. Maybe I'm I come off as desperate. I don't know what it is, but I just keep getting absolutely like either ghosted or just friend zoned.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Off.
Did you see the video on my channel about why burning desire matters?
Burning desire matters. No, I don't think I've seen that one.
So on YouTube, just search entrepreneurs and cars and then genuine burning desire. Watch that video. To sum it up, you want to invest your time on the sexual marketplace with 9s and 10s. So there's this formula that they use in the business world called the Net Promoter Score. And if you've ever been on a call about your cell phone, you get off the call, they automatically transfer you to a survey, and they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you recommend our service to blah, blah, blah sort of thing, or to your friends and family? And the measurement scale is 9s and 10s are promoters, 7s and 8s are passive, which is like, they didn't have a bad experience, they didn't have a great experience, and 6 and unders are detractors. And I've used this to compensate my salespeople for a number of years, my customer service reps in my business. And I apply the same model to the SMP simply because it's so easy for me to plug in. If a woman has high burning desire for you, a 9 or a 10, you don't have to wonder why you keep getting ghosted. Women don't ghost guys that they want to be with. Women go out of their ways to be with guys that they want to be with. So if you find yourself in a position where you're investing time and energy into a conversation, a dating app, a bar, and you get a number, and she's just trying to be friendly, or maybe she's got some interest, you're far better off investing your time in somebody that's got a 9 or 10 on the interest scale versus a 7. A 7 will give you the number, but she'll probably ghost you because a 9 or 10 will show up on her radar screen somewhere that she likes better. So why would you continue to waste your time in somebody that doesn't have genuine, strong desire in who you are? Women will go out of their way, like you will know, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So here's the follow-up question. Why do you think that's happening?
I thought it was because I was showing too much interest.
Well, what's too much interest?
Kind of like maybe just being like obsequious, just kind of paying too much attention to them, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to throw around too much free attention. Alan Roger Curry in his Mode 1 book, the part of that book that stood out the most to me was no free attention. You do not give out free attention unless there's something coming your way. She's got a genuine interest with you. She's going out with you. She's being intimate with you, whatever it is. But if you're just peppering it all over the place, see, this is a problem that thirsty betas have. They'll go on a social app like Instagram, for example. They'll find a hot woman and they'll just pine over them. 16 emoji hearts, all smiley faces, kissy faces, all this sort of stuff. You look so good, girl. I love that outfit you were wearing yesterday. And they slide into their DMs. And there's 23,000 of these thirsty betas doing the same thing all day long. When you throw around all that free attention, it has no value. The reason why gold has value is because it's not sitting all around us right now for us to pick up and use to buy things or to solve problems with. It has value because it's rare. So if you're just peppering it everywhere, it's got no value to these women, right?
It makes sense. And I think where I go wrong is then I go to the other extreme. Then I just ignore them completely. I do my own thing. I work out. I work. I just completely cut women out.
Look at
once I finally get back to talking to one, it's like then I get that. It's like you get desperate all of a sudden because it's like you've gone so long. I think that's like I'm unbalanced.
Well, yeah, it sounds very unbalanced. It's like an animal can smell fear, right? What do you think, Sean?
We started off this podcast tonight. We're talking about that study out of Toronto where people are good at judging themselves socially, except when it comes to women. It's a separate study that men do not judge themselves well with women. And it sounds like Jeremiah here is doing something that is off-putting to women, but it doesn't sound like he's got a real good grasp of what it is. And so I think this is a good opportunity to get some buddies, round them up, and do some data collection and see if they can watch you. And actually, I mean, if you really want to get into what you're doing wrong here, have people watch you as you're doing it, and you'll get some feedback from objective eyes about what you might be doing that is turning them off and making them bored with you.
Yeah, or if you want to get to the the root of the problem in like 20 or 30 minutes, book a call with me on Clarity, dude, because I'll sift right through your bullshit so quick. I'm gonna call you right out on it and get right to the point.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for the call.
Appreciate it.
All right, so that was last caller. Guys, if you need one-on-one coaching for something you're stuck on, you can book it with me at clarity.fm/Richard Cooper. Sean currently is only available locally in Denver for face-to-face work, but we're going to see if we can get him set up on a booking service as well in the near future. Closing comments, Sean?
This last guy, I'm real big on, I think I'm repeating myself, but I'm real big on collecting data. A lot of times guys are calling in with these problems and we don't have much data to go on. And that's fine. There's only so much data we can collect here, but you can collect a lot of data on your own just by watching yourself and having other people watch you. And data is tough to sit with, but there's no better way to get to the heart of your problem than to talk to the people around you who can actually see what you're doing. And I've had clients that have been bold enough to like even call ex-girlfriends and old bosses and so forth and say, okay, how did I screw up? Lay it on me. And they got honest answers and it took them to the next level so fast. It was amazing.
Yeah. If only you could just pound that into people a lot. Like, it would be so much easier for guys if they would just pay attention and stop sleepwalking. What's like, why women are ghosting you. I mean, like, what is it? They're out of your league. You're like what's missing there? I can find out quickly. I'd have to ask them about 5 or 10 questions, but I can find out real quick why it's happening. But for guys watching this, you could sum it up real well with that video. So look up Entrepreneurs in Cars, Why Genuine Burning Desire Matters. Pay attention to that. I think we'll wrap it up on that note. The next Monday that we normally do this on would be the 24th. That's Christmas Eve. I'm busy that day. I'm guessing you are too.
Yeah.
And then the following Monday after that is the 31st, which is New Year's Eve. So I think we should do the next call in January, dude.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
So we'll be off for 2 weeks, resuming on January the 7th, same time, same place. I guess we started this with a good, 4 or 5 series sequence to see how it went. So far, the first one was well received. Interesting challenges along the way, though, huh?
Yeah, the technology. You've done a good job of putting the technology together, but it is starting to appear that we need a call screener.
Yeah. We need a call screener. I'm not sure how to sort that out, but I'll put some thought into that over the next 2 weeks, and maybe we'll find a solution to it. So, thanks again for watching tonight, guys. See you guys in a few weeks. I got some more videos coming out this week before the holidays, so look out for those. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because apparently when you subscribe, it doesn't mean that much anymore on YouTube. You got to hit the bell too. So see you guys later. Have a good night. Peace out.